Hello everybody and welcome to today's GNI live event from the Google News Lab. It's great to have you all here with us. This is the last event that we are running at this stage of GNI live events. We've had a range of different courses over the past few weeks, and so thank you very much for joining in with us, for completing our challenges, for contacting us, for sending us messages and for getting involved. It's been really great to have you all here with us. So let's move on to today's session, shall we? Let's get things underway. Now, for those of you that are new to the stream today, and that's absolutely fine, if you haven't done any training with the Google News Lab, or you haven't had any one-to-one training with us or been on our website, essentially the Google News Lab are a team spread around the globe, and we work under the Google News Initiative, which is also global. And our mission is to collaborate with journalists and entrepreneurs to essentially drive innovation in news. And we do this in a variety of different ways. But here within the Google News Lab, we've been running these events called GNI Lives. And essentially these are online sessions that are there freely and available for you guys to basically help you in your reporting. So to give you tools, tips, advice, resources in a range of different storytelling tools that you can put into action in your newsrooms today. So the sessions that we've been running so far, and if you have missed any of them so far, that's absolutely fine, because you can go back on our YouTube channel and you can go and have a look at them, watch them in your own time, do some of the exercises while you're watching us. There have been COVID-19 resources, so if you're reporting on the COVID-19 pandemic, what resources are out there for you. Also freelance tools and tips for reporters, so what kind of podcasting tools you might need, or for newsletters, that kind of thing. So if you are working alone, we are here to support you as well. Then we talked about investigations and a new tool we've got called Pinpoint, which is a fantastic research tool that enables you to sort through huge collections of documents. So definitely check that out if you are working in large investigations, or even if you need some audio files transcribed, you can have a look at Pinpoint. Then we spoke about visualization and mapping, so how to use geo tools to tell our story, Google Maps, Google Earth, and all of that good stuff, which is absolutely amazing. Visually, it's amazing. And if you use Google Earth Studio, you can really animate some of the imagery that we have as well, which is stunning. So go and definitely have a look at that. Then we spoke about analytics for journalists, so how we can look at what our audience is interested in. And today we are here with the verification challenge, which has been very exciting. We've all had a really fun time putting together these verification challenges for you. Now, we've been running GNI live events in a range of different languages around the globe, because our teaching fellows are spread out, and we do train in multiple languages in multiple different regions as well. So whatever country you're coming from today, thank you very much for joining. It's great to have you here with us. At the end, I'm going to talk you through the answers to our verification challenge that we put out. So that's very exciting. And in today's session, we're basically going to be talking about verification tools and resources that you can use straight away. So GNI, as I mentioned, the Google News Initiative, our role is to work with journalists, work with the news industry to help basically make a stronger future for journalism. You know, we work with journalists and news organisations in a variety of different ways, but my role is there on the first of those three E's, to elevate and strengthen quality journalism. So if you are looking for individual newsroom training, for bespoke sessions for your newsroom, we can accommodate that as well. And we can also provide you with a range of different tools, from storytelling tools to visualization tools to research tools, you know, data tools, anything, you name it. We probably have a tool for you. So do get in touch if there's anything you need. We're here to support you. As I mentioned, today's session is all about verification, and we've called it the Verification Challenge because earlier on in the week, we posted a challenge online for you guys to actually decipher and find out the answer. And I'm going to be coming to that at the end of today's session. So do stick around with us if you fancy a little bit of a verification challenge with us. For those of you that haven't done it, I'm not going to give the answer away till the end, because you might want to go back and do it yourself with the tools that I'm going to be teaching you today, which is absolutely fine. So what does verification mean? I know you guys are all here because you're interested in verification. Maybe you want to improve your verification skills. Well, verification, essentially, the definition is the process of establishing the truth, accuracy, validity of something. Okay, so we're really looking at an image, a video, a piece of information, and finding the truth on it, or where that came from. Is this used out of context, or is this image manipulated, and so on and so forth. So today I'm going to aim to inspire you to unlock your inner Sherlock Holmes and do some of this investigative work for yourself, because whether you work on verifying information a lot within your day-to-day work as a journalist, or whether you ever come across a story where you think, actually, this is a useful skill for me to have as a journalist, which of course it is, then this session is for you, and you can get started with some of these tools straight away. But just before we do that, now talking about tools, I'm going to show you the Journalist Studio that we have here at Google. Now, really what the Journalist Studio is a collection of tools from Google for reporters. So these tools are there to help you do your job more effectively, more efficiently, and securely. So basically, we're aiming to help you in your work, as I say. So do check out our Google Journalist Studio, and you can get more information on any of those tools that are listed there on screen. We also have a website, g.co/news training. This is our core website where you can get up-to-date information on the latest tools for journalists. We also have, it's a dedicated training website, right? So we have PDF training tools and resources that you can download and you can get started with and learn in your own time as well. So it's a really, really great place. So I really recommend this resource. So head there. If there's any tools that you find that you just want a little bit of step-by-step guidance on, or you just want some extra help, head over to our training website. So today, verification tools and resources. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to run you through these verification tools and resources, and you might want to jot these down, take some pictures of the screen, take some screenshots, whatever that might be, because we're going to run you through these and talk about why we might use different types of verification resources in our work. So when you first get started with verification, it can seem a little bit daunting, can't it? It can seem a bit of a scary area. Okay, we're not all, police detectives. We're not all there, with our magnifying glasses and, Sherlock Holmes hats on. We might not have been trained in this area, and it can seem a little bit daunting at first. But the good news is there are a variety of tools out there that can help you, so which is absolutely fantastic. And we are here today to basically give you some tools that you can take away and start and put into practice. You can even practice with some of them while we're actually on the lesson today, while you're at home. So if you have this on in the background while you're working today, that's great. Or if you're focusing in, absolutely even better. And just do make sure you contact us if there's anything else you need from today's session. So once you basically get familiar with these online tools I'm going to tell you about, you'll actually be really excited. It's an exciting space to be in. It's a really fun space to be in. You can be really creative, and it's absolutely mind-blowing as to what you can actually find out on the net, actually what you can see. So it's definitely worth paying attention today and taking note of any that you see. Maybe you see an image or a video and you're going to question its origin or the authenticity or context of something that you see. Or maybe there's a video or something that just doesn't seem right, a piece of information on social media, and you want to check it out, but you just don't know where to start. That's what we're going to be talking about. So the first resource I want to bring your attention to is the first draft guide in verifying online information. Now, I've put a screenshot of it at the front there. Now, this document is actually designed to help you understand what to look out for when searching for clues and collecting evidence, as well as things to think about, when you start this process. So tips and tricks for saving time, frustration, helping you get to the answer faster, but also managing your expectations of what you can and can't do with these tools as well. It's a really great tool. I personally like the fact that it talks you through image and video verification, so it guides you through those. If I actually show you what the website looks like. So here is our website. It's on firstdraftnews.org, and you can just find their verifying online information guide. And you can see there's a visual verification guide, so it takes you through the steps of looking at photos, what type of things you need to be thinking about. So whether you're looking at the original version, do you know who captured the photo, where the photo was captured, that kind of thing. And the same for videos as well. So it really kind of takes you through a step-by-step process. but it also talks about, you know, whether things are worth verifying in itself, looking at the context and the industry around the verification of media online, and of course your tips for saving you time and things like that. So there's lots of great information on here, and I would definitely worth having a look at it. So as I say, it's on firstdraftnews.org, and definitely something to have a look at when you're starting your verification journey, which is super exciting. So the first tool from Google that I'd like to show you today is the Fact Check Explorer. Now, the Fact Check Explorer is a brilliant place to go if you see a piece of information online that you need to verify. So if there's a rumor going around on social media, or somebody's told you something, or you've been sent some information and you need to just check if this, you know, is true or false. Well, rather than you doing a whole fact check yourself and trying to debunk this information, what you can do is you can go to our Fact Check Explorer and see whether that has already been debunked itself by another journalist, okay? So saving you time and effort. So essentially it's a search engine for fact checks, okay? So you can see whether stories have already been debunked, and then that saves you time from doing it yourself. So it looks like this. If I go onto the Fact Check Explorer, you can see it looks like this, and it's just a search bar. So what you're going to do is you're going to search for a topic or person, or maybe something within the news industry at the moment. Maybe there's a story going around, maybe there's an issue that you're interested in searching for. So let's say we want to know about the COVID-19 vaccine. I can search for that in my toolbar here. And what it will show me is the fact checks that have already been done by other news organizations. So you can see they're just listed below. So you can see here, this is the claim by social media users. The Red Cross says people vaccinated against COVID-19 cannot donate plasma. Okay, but we can see here the USA Today has already said it's false. Now, rather than you going and debunking this claim yourself, you can just go to the Fact Check Explorer, have a look for it. If it's already done, it will be listed there, and you can tap into that article, and now it will show us the article where it's fact checked that claim and why it is false. Okay, if something is true or misleading, the Fact Check Explorer will also say that as well. So it's a really, really great place to go to find this information. As I say, you can look at as many of these as you want. You can just search for a term or a topic. You don't necessarily have to search for something specific. Okay, so that's our Fact Check Explorer for verifying information. So making sure if something has already been fact checked, that you're looking for it first there. Okay, save yourself some time. Now, for some investigations that you might be working on, you might want to perform a reverse image search. Now, if you haven't performed a reverse image search, that's essentially rather than you going to search for an image, you are then uploading or posting a photograph, and you're going to search the web for that photograph. So whether that's similar photographs or the exact same photographs, what these search engines will do is look for specific objects within the photograph that are similar to it, and it will help you in your investigations to kind of really look closer at details, at text, at buildings, and so on and so forth. So maybe there's a logo in a photo that you're just not quite sure where that logo's come from. Maybe there's a piece of text. Maybe you want to find a location, for example. So I'm going to run you through some of these reverse image search engines that you can get started with. Now, the first is Google Image Reverse Search. So using Google Images, you can perform this reverse search really, really easily. You just upload your own photo, or you just copy and paste the URL into the bar. And basically, Google will take that image that you've got and it will compare it to the images that Google has indexed from the web. Okay, so it's not every single image in the world, but it is one of the largest databases in the world. Okay, so let's say you had an image of a monument here in London and you wanted to know what that monument was. You could put it into Google Image Reverse Search and it will come back with other similar images, and so on and so forth. Maybe there's a street sign, maybe there's a particular type of font. It's always worth checking if you can Google Image Reverse Search first. Now, there are other image reverse search bars that you can check out. So one is called Yandex. It's a Russian image search bar. You can help users find similar images all over the web. It's a really great place to go to. You know, if you've searched Google Images, you can't find what you're looking for, I would always head to some of these others. So Yandex, for example. We also have TinEye. So TinEye, again, is an image search and recognition company. It's got experts there in computer vision, pattern recognition, neural networks, and machine learning as well. So they offer quite a few services. And we also have Bing. So that's another search engine that we can use. So rather than just do a reverse image search on one search engine, I would recommend doing it on quite a few, just so that you can cross-reference your information and find out as much information as you can. Now, there is a plugin called Revi, okay? So this is a way that we can do a reverse image search, but it's a Chrome add-on. So essentially, you can search all of the search engines in one go. So we can have a look at Google, Bing, TinEye, and Yandex all in one go if we download this plugin and we just attach it to our browser window. So we will be using this in the verification challenge later on in the day, so I'll be able to show you. Now, if you have a video online that you want to verify, and obviously with videos, it's a lot harder because videos are essentially lots and lots of little images put together to make a moving image, to make a video. So we've got lots of individual frames. So if we do have a video and we think something's just not quite right about this video, you know, I'm not quite sure about how to verify the information, what you can do is you can open up this tool called InVid. Now, InVid is a plugin toolkit. It's designed to assist fact-checking through video verification. So it provides users with contextual information on videos, reverse image searching, video metadata, video copyright information, and there's lots of other features as well. So basically, to get started, you can upload your video and it will break it down into individual keyframes that then you can use in, you know, to do a reverse image search, for example. So if I put a video in like this, it would break it down and you can see, I can see all the individual keyframes there. So you can see basic data associated with the video. So the upload date and time information. And then of course you can find out more information if you put it in other search engines as well. So it's definitely worth checking out InVid. I have to say my favorite feature of InVid is the ability to use a magnifying glass. So this is what the magnifying glass looks like. And just for fun, I've found a lovely little picture here that you can right click. Obviously, if this is a plugin on your browser, you can right click and you can open the magnifying glass and you can zoom into an image. Okay, so this lets you inspect small detail or text in a photo that you might not be able to see by just zooming in on the computer. Okay, so really using that magnifying feature, even just by itself, is very useful. But, you know, don't forget the power of a Google search when you are verifying information online. You know, sometimes we can use our Google search refinements to find information faster and more effectively. And we've spoken about this on previous GNI lives as well. So don't forget the power of a Google search. If you found a clue in a picture, or you know a little bit of context surrounding, you know, a verification challenge, or, you know, some let's say a riddle you need to find out, or you know some information about the location but you just don't know the other information, you can use that within a Google search to help deepen you know, the niche area of what you're looking for. Now, we've got some search refinements here on the screen. As I say, if you've been there with us for our previous GNI lives, you will have seen some of these. But basically what I'm trying to show you here is that you can use a variety of different search refinements to really niche in on what you're looking to find on Google, okay? So rather than just searching in the search tab for, you know, a very generic word or generic place or, you know, a generic phrase, what you can do is you can use these search refinements to remove certain terms from your results. Maybe look at specific websites. Maybe look at sites that are related to those websites. Maybe look at the last saved version of a website as opposed to one that might have just crashed, using that cache search refinement. So there's lots of different search refinements that you can use and get started with. But when we are verifying information, often we need to find the information, you know, as quickly as possible, because sometimes we can end up going down a rabbit hole. So, you know, finding the information using these search refinements can often be a great way to go. You know, you don't necessarily have to stick just to the visual verification. We can use some of the clues from a question. And, at the same time, if we're on social media and there's information that's been spread on social media, sometimes we don't necessarily have to go straight to that piece of information that's being spread. Sometimes we can look at the account that it's been spread from. So who's actually saying this information? Are they a trustworthy source? And there are a few tools, especially on Twitter, that enable you to have a deeper look at who you're speaking with. So you can see here there's a tool called Twitonomy, and it's a tool for investigating Twitter accounts to find out information. So when the user joined, their tweet history, the percentage of tweets that are retweeted, and more information like that. So as opposed to simply just looking at one individual tweet and debunking that or verifying it, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the source where that's come from. And again, there's another tool called Botometer. It's a tool that allows you to work out the likelihood of a Twitter account being a bot. Okay, so you just put the username in there and it will give you some results as to how likely that account is to be automated. Okay, so there are tools out there that enable you to do this. But what I must emphasize at this point is it's really, really important when we're verifying information online, whether that's text, videos, photographs, spoken word, is to really use our intuitive sense as to whether something just seems wrong. If it doesn't feel right, really investigate it, because we should always have that kind of intriguing quality to us as journalists, to inquisitive quality, to really kind of zone in on what we're looking at. Should we really make sure that what we're looking at is true? Of course we should. We should question everything. So don't forget that there are a lot of places you can look at on social media that will help you to see whether something is trustworthy or not. So for example, if there's a video that's been posted on YouTube, there are lots of things that we can do and look at into the account. So rather than using external tools, we can, of course, look at, the size of their audience. Are there, influencers that follow them? Can we contact them directly? Can we send them a message? What other information do they have? Do they have any contact details directly to other people outside their organization that we might be able to talk to that know of them? So really using our gut intuition when we're doing these as well is so important. It's like if you received an email and the grammar's all wrong, and it's from an email address that you don't trust, your name's spelt incorrectly, there's some dodgy links in there. You don't necessarily open that email, do you? A lot of the time we steer clear. So it's the same when we're looking at social media information as well. So trusting our instincts and really looking to see whether something should be investigated in more depth, but also not forgetting, some of the places that we have on social media platforms to really look at. So looking at some of the things that seem obvious that might be missing on that account. Now, you can also find a lot of information by looking at Exif Data. So this stands for Exchangeable Image File Format. So this can be the time, date, location of an image. This all depends on the camera settings. It has to be taken by digital camera, and you can get the location settings if the GPS is turned on. Now, this is a very useful tool, but it's really worth noting that you have to have a look at the original file, so not a screenshot. And the images uploaded to social media sometimes have the Exif data stripped from them. So it's really worth not relying on Exif data, but knowing it's a tool to have in your kit bag as well. Exif data can also be manipulated. It's probably rarely manipulated unless they're quite sophisticated fraudsters, but it is worth understanding that as well. So there are a lot of Exif data websites that you can go and find out. I've actually posted one of those on there just now, but you can try this at home. If you head over to an Exif data reader website, upload an image, and it will tell you the information it has on that image. So maybe you want to take one with your phone now and then upload it online and see that information that you can get from the back end metadata on that Exif breakdown for you. But of course, you know, when we're looking at our tools, some of the most popular tools that we find, especially for verification, are visual. And, you know, they're using our geolocation tools that you can use within your day-to-day work. So the first tool I want to point you to is, of course, Google Earth. Now within Google Earth, you can see street layouts, landmarks, architectural details. You can see street signs, storefronts. So it's always worth heading to Google Earth if you found an image and you want to find the location, or if you found something on a map that you want to dig deeper into. Head over to Google Earth and you can see some imagery on there. If we do have that in the bank, then you'll be able to see it there on Google Earth. It is still the world's biggest publicly accessible repository of geographic imagery. Okay, so as I say, it's worth checking out, you know, if you want to verify or even cross-reference. It's got aerial photography, satellite imagery, 3D topography, geographic data, and street view. So if you want to use those with your investigations, you just head over there and you can type in a location and really dig deep. And I'm going to show you how we do that in a moment. I should also point out to you now that there's a newly released time-lapse feature. So you can use this to see locations and areas that have been captured in the past and snapshotted. Now, this is a huge update for us. So there's been 20 million satellite photos from the past 37 years, and these have all been embedded into Google Earth for the first time. So you can really create seamless and explorable views of different locations. But of course, when we're verifying information, it's really worth using the time-lapse feature to go back in time and to have a look at what's changed. And we've seen some fantastic investigations from newsrooms that have actually used these features to go back in time and have a look in more detail. Now, if you do feel like you're going to take your investigations to the next level and to really verify that information, I would like to point you in the direction of the Bellingcat Online Investigation Toolkit. So this contains masses of collected online tools, resources, and apps that will enable you to create your own open source investigations, to work within them. It's definitely worth checking out. You just tap into it. It's like a spreadsheet, and it has links to all of these tools that you can get started with as well. So you have lots to work on there, lots to take away. As I say, it's just worth practicing with some of these tools. And it's also worth noting that you're never going to really use one of these tools by itself. Like a lot of the time, you'll be using them in conjunction with each other or using them to cross-check each other as well. Okay, so as I say, it's worth getting to grips with quite a few. But for now, this is the fun bit. We're going to be talking about the verification challenge. We've had such a great response to the verification challenge this year. Lots of you writing in with some of your answers to our verification challenge and what the answer will be. So I'm going to play you our promo video. And for those of you that are watching now and you missed the verification challenge or you didn't see it, you can maybe have a little think as we're going through and you can watch how we would verify it ourselves. Psst. Come closer. I have a very important task for you. It's the latest verification challenge from the Google News Lab. Your mission, if you choose to accept it, is to find out which popular British seaside town this location is twinned with. You're going to need to dig deep and explore a range of online tools to determine the answer. Make sure you send your answer using the Google form attached, and all will be revealed on Wednesday the 26th of May at 1200 hours. Now there's no time to wait, so get cracking. And good luck. Okay, so that was our verification challenge. Little promo video to get your creative juices flowing, to get you thinking like Sherlock Holmes there. I did have fun making that. So let's have a look at the challenge that I set for you guys. Okay, so we had a photo here. And which British seaside town is twinned with this location? So that was the question. So I'm just going to make this full screen so you can see it in more depth. So, okay, so what do we have to do when we have a look at this photo? So obviously the first step here is to find out where exactly this location is, because then we can do research into its twin town. So we can have a look at where this is based, okay? So how are we actually going to do that? Okay, so we've got a location and we want to know whereabouts it is. So the first thing to do is to have a look at things like clues in the image. So in this location, there are quite a few clues. So let's think, what landmarks do we have? Okay, well, it looks like we have some sort of church or cathedral on the left there. The building itself, that also looks like it's timber framed. It's not made out of brick. Now, notice all the buildings in this image have coloured roofs. So that's quite unusual. So maybe it's not something that I would find, down the road here in London. We also have a mountainous range in the background and some writing there across the water as well. Okay, so we've got some writing on the bank and we've got a lovely little mountainous range in the background. So first step is, let's put this into a reverse image search and see what we can find. Okay, so as I mentioned before, we have quite a few of these. We've got Google, Yandex, TinEye, and Bing. Okay, so we can go through each of these individually, and I know quite a few of you did when you filled out that form. Quite a few of you went through each of them individually. What you can do, of course, as I mentioned, you can use Revi to look at them all at the same time. Okay, so if you download the Revi plugin, you can just right-click on the image, as I've done here, and you can basically go to the Revi plugin, you can right-click, search for Google, Bing, Yandex, and TinEye all in one go by clicking all search engines. So if I did that, this is what I would get. Okay, so this is Google Image Reverse Search. You can see here that what Google has done is it's focused on, that main landmark there, which was that timber house, which was in the photo. So you can see from the results, I'm getting quite a lot of buildings pop up of visually similar images that are of other timber framed houses around the world. So a lot of these are focusing on that roof, and it's not very helpful to me because, as I say, there are quite a few places with this type of housing built in. So let's have a look at some of the other image reverse search engines. So we've got TinEye, that doesn't have any matches. Bing, that doesn't have any results. Now, what does this mean to us? If we're not having a lot of results with our reverse image searches, that could mean that maybe we're in a bit more of an unusual location. Maybe there's not that much imagery online. Maybe we don't have that much imagery uploaded to geolocation tools online. We've got Yandex here. Now, Yandex has shown us quite a few pictures of housings with coloured roofs again. But I searched and searched and searched, and it's quite difficult to use this. So my next tool, once I've done that kind of photo image reverse search, which hasn't been massively helpful in this investigation. So I thought, right, I'm going to go to InVid, because remember I said InVid is that video plugin, but it also has that magnifying element within it. So I can right click on the image and open up the image magnifier in InVid. So I right click and I tap on image magnifier, and I get my magnifying glass up. Okay, so I've taken some screenshots here as to what it looked like, and I wrote down underneath what I could make out from the wording on the bank. Now, it was so interesting to see your responses. Some of you could read these words perfectly. Some of you couldn't read the wording at all. Obviously, if you are having trouble with one element, you move to another. This is what I was thinking, protector. I can see that pretty clearly. The next one, EN, and I didn't know what else it said. Something maybe castle, and the last one, Clyde. So you all had very varying answers for this, which I thought was really interesting. It's a little bit like Chinese whispers. We all see something different. So many of you have figured out the location because you saw the word protector there on the left-hand side. And by putting it into a search engine, in this example, we have DuckDuckGo. This is a search engine that emphasizes protecting searchers' privacy, so avoiding filter bubbles of personalized search results. So what we had is actually quite a few of you, I think 5 of you responded with exactly the same method, protector written on the hill. Okay, so if we searched in DuckDuckGo for protector written on the hill, of course, that could be a hill anywhere in the world, we can see that one of the search results comes back as HMS Protector's name written in the rocks. Oh, that sounds good. HMS Protector. Okay, what could that mean? Okay, so we go into that image and we can see that word protector written on the bank. Now, if we compare that to our original image, you can see that it's very similar terrain. The word protector is indeed spelt out in rocks across the way there. I can also see a slight mountain ridge in the background, but there's also water in front of the words protector, which tells me, okay, there's a really strong likelihood that this is in the same location, okay? Now, from the name HMS, and some of you might have knowledge of the Falklands War, no, we can place this together with this writing. It might be linked to the name of a patrol vessel down in the South Atlantic. Now, you'll see there that that image is actually called HMS Protector's name written on the rocks in Courtly Hill, Stanley, Falkland Islands. Okay, so that's two things. We know it's in the Falkland Islands from that picture. And, you know, as I say, with knowledge of the Falklands War, maybe that's a patrol vessel that went down there back in 1982. Okay, so there we go. We've got protector. We've got that in the bank. But let's say, for example, we need to do, you know, a further search, and we're pretty sure this image is from the Falklands, but maybe we want to cross-reference this and just make sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up, as I said earlier, we've got Google Maps, and I'm going to bring up Google Maps. I'm going to have a look for the Falklands. Now, the Falklands, there's not much imagery from the Falklands, which might be the answer as to why we didn't see it a lot in our image reverse search. But if I search for the Falkland Islands, you can see it's down there in the South Atlantic, 8,000 miles away from the UK. And you can see here that there's some quick facts on the left-hand side, because we don't know exactly where in the Falklands this is. You know, we've got Courtly Hill, but we don't know where. So if we look in that description there, you can see that it says the capital of the Falklands is Stanley. So this is a really good place to start if we kind of want to be investigating this. But having a look through these images that are within Google Maps, oh, bingo, we can see a cathedral in the picture here. Now, you can see this is called Christchurch Cathedral. Now, if we were to have a look back at our original image, which we'll do in a moment, do you remember there was a cathedral on the left-hand side of that picture, which could match? It could be quite similar. But just to double check this, okay, so I know that there's a cathedral in Stanley, because I've just seen it in those pictures. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, there it is. I've just seen that on that map there. So I'm going to change to a satellite view to have a better understanding of what this looks like. Okay, so I know that there's the same cathedral as in my picture, and there it is. It's looking out over the water. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the satellite imagery to zoom in, and there I can see, if I go a little bit closer, make sure you're using that little plus icon on the right-hand side to really zoom in. Fantastic. Look at that. I can see the writing in rocks on the bank there. So I can see Barracuda Beagle, Protector, Endurance, Dumbarton Castle, and Clyde. Okay, so all vessels involved with the Falklands War. Okay, so that's amazing because we can use these geo tools to really help us out. Okay, so let me see if I can see. Right. And then, so I know that image was in the Falklands. So all I needed to do there was a quick Google search to see what place was twinned with the Falklands. So Stanley, which is the capital of the Falklands. And the quick Google search that we can see is Whitby in Yorkshire. So that's lovely, Whitby. It's actually twinned with Stanley in the Falkland Islands. It's a gorgeous British seaside town. So we had so many right answers for this. So well done if you got this right. And I must also describe to you the ways that some people did it that couldn't see the writing on the bank across the water there. Now, I'm going to describe that to you in a second, but you had bonus points if you could see that Whitby and Stanley both have whalebone arches as distinctive features of the town. Okay, you saw there was that image of the Christchurch Cathedral. We saw there in the Falkland Islands. We've got a whalebone arch in front of it. And we also have a whalebone arch in Whitby as well. Beautiful. So the towns were twinned on the 13th of August, 1981. As I say, 8,000 miles apart from each other. But for those of you that didn't get the answer from that technique, you actually reverse engineered it, which I thought was really clever. So what they did is they just basically used the Google search bar. And as I say, that's a really great verification tool to use. They just searched for British seaside towns because the question was, which British seaside town is twinned with this location? So they looked for British seaside towns. And you can see here we've got a Wikipedia page linked to every single British seaside town. And by moving through them one by one and just searching for the word twin, so Control F on their keyboard, you can see, so we get down to Whitby, we can actually see that Whitby, if I go down into the page, is twinned with quite a few different places. Now, among them is Stanley Falkland Islands. So going through each of these pages, we can see, if we dump into the Falklands one, that we have the image of the cathedral there. So if the writing in the stones across the bank wasn't really helpful to you, but thinking about that cathedral was a really strong part of the image, even though it was at the side. So it's really, really useful to really have a think about, okay, what is obvious in this picture, but what is not obvious in this picture? Okay, so the question, which British seaside town is twinned with this location? And the answer is Whitby in Yorkshire. Okay, so well done to all of you that completed the verification challenge. We will be launching more of these verification challenges later on in the year, I'm sure. Now, if you do have any images or videos that you would like to share with us, or you've been doing your own investigations and you'd like to share your workings out, or any verification tools that you're using as well, do get in touch with me. My email is carolinescott@google.com. So make sure you contact me if you would like any bespoke newsroom training. As I say, it's all free of charge, provided by Google. So we would love to come into your newsroom and provide some of this training as well. Please make sure you fill in the feedback form, which is in the comments as well. And I will see you all, I guess, in the re-records on YouTube and our next GNI Live events, of course. And do feel free to contact me whenever you need. Okay, thank you very much for listening, guys. And well done again for all of you that completed that challenge. See you soon.